Yeah. Cool Hand Podcast, something you got to deal with. Move. Yeah. Check it out now.
These gears turning, burning.
We back.
Truth don't lean on nothing.
That's right.
If I can't go for this one thing, I don't know if life's worth it. I don't need a sign,
But I gotta move on. So I'm ruining the song by singing over it. All right, Cool Hand Podcast, something you got to deal with. Welcome back to the show. I'm your host. My name is Q. The song that we were just listening to and that I partially ruined just dropped. It's called Right Time by Crowded Places. And that's the song that I want to talk about today. I know it's been a while. I've been working on some side projects and still just building up my little catalog of podcasts. So if you're tuning in, thank you. I appreciate your viewership or your listening ship or whatever. But anyway, let's get right up into the topic. So my homeboy Crowded Places just dropped what I'm going to call one of the songs of the summer, like I mentioned before, which is called Right Time. Crowded Places has been on a little winning streak recently. He's been dropping a few songs, and I think this is the fourth song that he's dropped within a couple months. So he's been on a small little winning streak, and it's a winning streak of singles. And he hasn't really missed with these singles here. He first dropped Sing From Your Heart 3. He dropped a song called Outside. That was a collaboration with someone we've interviewed on this show, Alec Hershey. And he dropped a collab with a group called Saturday. I had to look them up. They're like an alternative pop, grunge, rockish type sound. And that song is called Light Rays. So, Sing From Your Heart 3, he had that. And that was I want to make note that it was a 10-minute song, a 10-minute track. And if you're familiar with the Sing From Your Heart songs that Crowded Places has dropped, the first one was on the Somewhere Soon EP. The second one was released independently just as a single. And this third one is a single as well. Now, Sing From Your Heart 3 is, as I mentioned before, 10 minutes long. 10 minutes of straight raps, no hook, no breaks. And the song is personal. All of these Sing From Your Heart songs are pretty, are things that are on Crowded Places' mind and things that you would think he keeps close to the chest. So that's a great song. And at the end, he says, I made 10 minutes feel like 2. I just want to point out that the song was recorded well, as it sounds like it was punchless. And I'm going to sound repetitive, or this may be redundant to somebody who knows music and who records and is an artist, but just in case there's anybody who doesn't know, who doesn't care about making music, but pretty much this whole punch-in deal is, okay, I'm rapping right now, blah, 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 la, la, la. Oh, my voice messed up. So what I'm going to do is go in, and where my voice messed up, I'm going to pick up from there. But the thing about this whole punch-in nonsense, because I personally don't like it from my days of being a garbage rapper, the whole concept is you have to make it sound good. Like, you don't want to have a different tone when you're punching in on the spot that you want to pick up from, and then it doesn't match with the rest of the song. Now, at the end of the day, you can do whatever you want. It is, I feel like a lot of these things are like, okay, this take is good or something like that. But more notably, I think about Kanye West. Kanye West, you can clearly hear his punch-ins when his voice sounds different, how far away from the mic he is. It may sound like he's here on one verse, and then all of a sudden you hear him, and it's like, why does this sound this way? And it's like horrible punch-ins. You may call it lazy, but at the end of the day, I don't think, for me personally, the punch-ins don't make or break a song. But the fact that he was able to record, and I'm sure he didn't do this whole song in one take. And when it came out, I said, man, this sounds punchless. And I know that he's very specific with how he records. There's a lot of thought, effort, and repetition that goes into the recording process. So that's one thing that I'll name about Crowded Places in this song and Sing From Your Heart 3. So definitely go check that out. It's a really good song. The beat's great. I think he got like a sample from a Justin Wyatt sample pack, somebody else I've covered. So you see how everything just, comes together with specific artists and how they work together, even if it's unintentionally, just from like a sample pack. This other song outside with Crowded Places with Alec Hershey has a chill vibe to it. It's a cool song, and check that out. Alec Hershey is consistent with the beats that he makes. It's always like a chill, breezy sound, a cool sound. I would describe it as cool. And Crowded Places is rapping on that song. Now, Light Rays is a little bit different with this group Saturday. I think it's a great collaboration between him and this alternative grunge pop band. It's like a fusion between hip hop and like this rocky sound. It has like a dark and epic sound to it that I could see like in a movie. And I do not watch Fast and Furious. I saw the one with Lil Bow Wow when I was like 12 years old, and that was on like a DVD or bootleg DVD, something like that. But when I mention Fast and Furious, I'm saying cars. I can see this song being like on a soundtrack to something like that, or I just think of like a car chase montage or a car driving montage, somebody, like a scene of like somebody's hand, doing the little stick shift joint while this song is playing. Really cool song. Check that out. But now we get to this song that we're going to spend a little bit of time on, which is Right Time. Now, this song is a change of pace for Crowded Places because we don't hear, this isn't a love song. I wouldn't call it a love song, but you don't hear songs like this from the boy like that. So, the song is geared toward love life and the potential for romance. The song is classified as electronic. I think it's classified as that on Apple Music and Spotify, but I personally get an alternative R&B vibe from it. I don't know what the components of island music is, but when I listen to it, I think islandy. I think of the islands. I think of water. I think of the beach. I think of, like, and it's something that you can move your hips to, honestly. Like, this is a summer song. This is something you can drive in the whip with, whether you're going 25 miles per hour or if you're going 70. I think you can really vibe out and ride in the whip to this. Another thing is, now don't ask me why, and I may be able to elaborate later. I might be able to elaborate later, but the actual beat, what you heard in the beginning, the dun, 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 it reminds me of the early 2000s. Just don't ask me why right now. We'll talk about it a little bit later. Just hold on. So, the vibe of this song is what I find most important, because I feel like I've mentioned this in the past in regards to rappers, but it's not what you say in the song, but how it comes across. It's not even what you say and how you say it. It's not what you say, but how it comes across, because this is not a rap song. It's electronic or alt R&B or whatever you want to call it. But so we're just vibing out to it. We're vibing out to the auto tune, the melodies, the things like that. And I feel like a song like this, or R&B songs or songs with vocals, it really depends on the full package versus what the song's actually talking about. Have you ever listened to a song? Okay, especially when you were a kid. I feel like this was more relevant when you were younger. And I think it still applies today, where you might have heard a song and you love this song, and then you catch yourself singing it around the house. Your mom and dad is like, what What do you sing? Do you know what? Like you can't listen to that song. And then you're like, what you mean? Like, this is my joint. They're like, do you know what they're talking about in that? No, I just like the beat, or I just like the hook, or woo 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 woo. Meanwhile, the song is about some crazy stuff, but that's not what you were listening to the song for, and you didn't even notice it. You didn't notice there was something wrong with the song because it just sounded good. It sounded good. And that's it. That's how I feel about this song because now I have the lyrics in front of me here, and there's a few lyrics that I want to bring out a little bit later, but the thing that sells me on this song is it sounds good, period. I'm not the most articulate person who can, and I say this all the time, who can break down everything to amino acids. There's pockets of music that I can elaborate on, and there's some things that I just out of lack of knowledge cannot speak on well. And with this, it sounds good. It sounds good. The full package sounds good. So, when talking about the message of the song, so what we established here is the song sounds good and it's a good vibe. It's a good sunshine vibe, summer vibe, beach vibe, ratting in the whip vibe, move your hips vibe, that type of vibe. So from his own words, because when I heard the song initially, I'm like, oh yeah, I need all the ladies to the dance floor with this one. That's my running narrative. When I hear this, it's like, all, I imagine, oh, this is my song, girl. And they want, you know what I mean? So that's what I was running with. And he's like, song isn't for women. It's for anyone who's single and waiting for their time to shine. Well, that's a little, not inclusive for us married people, I guess, whatever, it's song for single people. So whatever, I enjoy the song too, but okay, just kidding. Anyway, so and that's straight from the horse's mouth. Okay. So when you analyze some of these lyrics, and it's not a super long song, it's like under 3 minutes. I think it's around 257, 258. How I interpreted the song when actually reading the lyrics, going beyond what I heard, it's like finding the right time, finding the right person to fall in love with or potentially fall in love with. Now, I'm going to read these lyrics verbatim. He says, "'Cause I don't want to waste the moment believing that I could fall again. I'll find the one soul. If I got it, just let me know." So I thought this was interesting within the context, and this is my interpretation. So just full disclosure, I read something that was straight from the horse's mouth, and this is my personal opinion here. So I think about, I don't want to waste the moment believing that I can fall again. So it's almost like when you think in the context of right time, you might be looking at somebody or getting to know somebody, but just out of pure cautiousness or being human, you may have questions or, be fooled by infatuation or just an aspect of a person that you're just not all the way sure on. So it's like, I don't want to waste the moment. I don't want to dive in to leading myself on to thinking that this can be more than what it actually is or what it actually has the potential to be. There might be a ceiling on the relationship that you and another person have, but you don't know it, or you ignore the signs and jump into something, and then it ends up going bad. Hopefully you're walking with me because I'm fumbling right now. I'm fumbling my words right now, trying to find the right words to say so it can be understood clearly. But pretty much a patience thing. I don't want to waste the moment thinking that I can fall in love, things like that. And I thought that was pretty deep, personally speaking. So like I said, just to put a cap on this, you're thinking about the quote unquote right time and having patience to analyze if a romantic situation is right for you. I should have read that a long time ago instead of think about all that fumbling stuff. This is exactly why I take notes. This is exactly why I take notes. So I'm not fumbling. Anyway, so and this is the thing. I was just talking to somebody about having patience and knowing in one, this is on some personal stuff, in knowing if a person's right for you. By the way, public service announcement, do not come to me for relationship advice. Wrong person. Just because I'm married, I do not have like superpowers, exceptional wisdom. I'm not a relationship guru. I swear, if you ask me something, you're only going to give me anxiety. Facts. I don't have the answers. I'm like, okay, if this is the bar for dumb, I'm like right around here. Like this is the bar. This is the bar. I'm like right around the bar. Like so you're really, if you ask me a question, you're asking somebody who's very slow. I can barely comprehend my own sentences. I'm an idiot. I don't have wisdom. I'm not, my emotional intelligence is low. It's just better for everybody if you don't ask me anything. I'm telling you, I'm just telling you now. I'm telling you now. I'm not the guy. I'm not that guy. So anyway, so as I mentioned before, the 2000s thing that I said, getting back to the actual discussion, when I said it gives me like a 2000s vibe, it may be because of the Diddy like ad libs, the Puffy, back when he was Puffy, the Puff Daddy ad libs that are on this song, and that's me on the ad libs. And just a quick story behind that is, Crowded Places had a vision for this song, and he thought that I would be good for it. And it was my first time. I don't do ad libs. I don't record. I don't do anything like that. At least not anymore. I mentioned how I'm a failed rapper, but so he gave me like a reference, like a song, referencing like Diddy, like, and I listened to it and I'm like, okay, I see what you're talking about. And, I went in and I did the ad libs, and when he sent me the song, it turned out to be really nice. And I thought it was pretty funny to hear my voice doing this, yeah, like that. But I really think in all sincerity, I think it did add to the vibe of the song. And that's another thing, talking about the complete package. So shout out to you, Crowded Places, for thinking about me and allowing me on the song. But my talking about this song isn't because I'm on it. I just happen to be on it. My talking about the song isn't just because Crowded Places is my homeboy. It is what it is. I'm not covering every single song of his. I'm really covering this song because, as I mentioned earlier in this podcast, is I like the total package. I liked the total package. And I want to present to you who's listening, you who's watching, if you're a Crowded Places fan, stan, supporter, listener, or hater, I would like to get your opinion, because when I was listening to the song, I'm like, man, there's something about when Crowded Places gets on his melodic stuff that I especially like his songs. Now, what do I mean by that? We're going to and I want your opinion. If you are listening, please leave a comment or something like that. I think on Spotify, I can do a poll. So I might try to do a poll with the Spotify thing when this drops there. So rapping Crowded versus melodic Crowded. Now, obviously, he's not a singer, but when Crowded Places does use a little touch of auto tune, I think he executes it well, because lo and behold, those who don't know, using auto tune, it isn't just throw auto tune on any voice and it sounds great. No, Like, I think it's been proven when you listen to certain rappers, or when auto tune really became prevalent in hip hop, not everybody sounded good with it. So you can, like, it, auto tune isn't a just throw this on and you sound great. No, you actually have to know how to use it. You have to know how to sing with it. And clearly, Crowded Places has learned and done that as I move on. So he's not a singer, but he executes auto tune well with his voice. Songs like Footer, Best Friend, Somewhere Soon, and now this song, I feel like they have the full package in the sense of the song transcends the message where it sounds good. Okay. Now, and I say this versus him rapping is because, a lot of times I have to really digest the song fully, I have to read the lyrics. And that's one of the most challenging things when I do these reviews is, okay, you can't catch everything on a listen, on the first listen, on the second listen. But I don't know if it's I don't know if it's the pacing or the type of flows that he uses a lot of times where it's hard for me to catch it. Like, what did he say? Is that how he said it? Or did he, something like that? And even when I was reading the lyrics to the song that he did with Alec Hershey, Outside, because I gave a brief description of the songs that he recently dropped. And the song sounds good. The hook sounds great and everything else. But when it came to the rapping, I was looking at the lyrics and I didn't fully understand. Even after reading them, I didn't connect with them, and I couldn't even piece it together all the way to come up with anything to say about it lyrically or the specific message. So that's one of the things, and this is me. Like I said a little earlier, I'm teetering that line of being a Neanderthal or a straight idiot or a what's another word? A simpleton or a numbskull. I have a pea brain. You get the mess. You get the picture. Okay. So that's the one thing about the singing versus rapping. I think the melodic joints are more digestible versus the rapping. You really have to pay attention. And even when paying attention, I can't. Sometimes, this isn't all the time, but sometimes it's like a little harder to connect, for the lyrics to connect, for the flow, the rhyme pattern, the rhyme scheme, all of these things in combination. It's hard to, for the blows to connect in a sense. Like, you want to land something on a listener, you want something to stick with them. And a lot of times it's hard for some of those bars to stick, if that makes sense. So I want to get your opinion, because I know there's, all the Crowded Places stands. Don't kill me for that take. But this was a legitimate thought that I had while listening to this song. It's like, man, I really connect with this song. And I had to think about it. I had to think about, okay, I really like Footer. I really like Somewhere Soon. I really like Best Friend. Okay, what do all these songs have in common? So, and it took a little bit of thought from my pea-sized brain was like overloading. It was about to blow up. It's like hot right now. But so I want to get the listener's opinion. If you have an opinion on this one, what do you prefer? Do you prefer melodic Crowded Places, or do you prefer rapping Crowded Places, or do you like both equally? Let me know in the comments and let me know why. So, shout out to Crowded Places. This was a great song. I need all the ladies to the dance floor immediately. And all my fellas, because this is what I'm about to say. I said all the ladies, but all the fellas, I need you to the dance floor too. And if you hop out on that dance floor, you got to move your hips. Fellas included. You got to move your hips. You might have to dirty wine, or don't go that far, but you got to move your hips to this one. So this is the Cool Hand Podcast, something you got to deal with. Thanks for tuning in. If you made it thus far, I appreciate it. And take care. Have a nice day. Easy.